2017 Fiat 124 Spider Abarth. Now, or Abarth, however you want to pronounce it. I'm hoping the audio comes through on this. This is actually the second time I'm recording this because the microphone on my first trial run didn't work properly. So, back to the car. So it's a 2017 124 Spider Abarth with a 6-speed manual transmission. As you known from my last video, I missed driving a manual. I really missed driving a manual, and I know I'm sacrificing a ton of power going to this, which is a small little 4-cylinder. It's a 1.4 liter. It's got a small turbo though, so that helps a little bit. But overall, it's down in power a lot. But the driving enjoyment and overall fun factor of this car is unlike any other. I'm truly extremely happy with the switch. Am I gonna miss the Golf R? Of course. The all-wheel drive turbo, the practicality of it, not only being all-wheel drive, being a hatchback, 4-door, technically 5-door with the hatch, it was a hell of a car. It put the power down amazing. It was so easy to tune, but it was just missing the engagement, the driver engagement. The one I bought was a DSG, a dual clutch transmission, and I'm not gonna lie, they are freaking amazing. If you want to go fast, that's what you get. But that was my first automatic in over 10 years, and I just really missed driving a manual. Now, the one thing about this car, I know, well, first of all, just so you know, if you don't already, it's made by Mazda in Japan, side by side, by the Miata. So Fiat went to Mazda to kind of partner with this car, kind of like how Subaru and Toyota have the whole FRS 86 BRZ thing. Honestly, they couldn't have picked a better company to partner with. If you want to do a rear-wheel drive sports car, a little 2-seater convertible, there's really nothing better to go than to go to Mazda with the Miata platform. So the interior is basically Miata, besides some little touches here and there, like this red tack that you get in the Abarth, which is, I think, just stunning. Looks amazing. And the whole chassis and everything is Miata. The transmission is actually from the prior generation, so not the current ND, but I believe it's the NC a little bit before, because this engine has a little more torque, a lot more than the Miata at the time. And it's just an amazing car. Now, I had an S2000 in the past, one of the cars I've always regretted selling. And the car is an amazing car. You have to wring it out to get any power from it, though, as most people already know. And you need to basically drive it a certain way. You need to drive it the way it needs to be driven so you can enjoy it. And this is kind of similar in the sense that the power is like right smack dab in the middle. So basically, you got a tiny 1.4 liter. You have a turbo, which is also really small. So you have the little 1.4 liter, which really doesn't produce that much low-end torque. And then you have a small turbo, which just doesn't give that higher end power that a turbo usually does. It kind of dies out a little bit. You put those two together and you get a power band that's like right in the middle, like the sweet spot between 3 and 5. You really feel this mid-range punch that this car has, and it really feels amazing. But I'm okay with that. I am coming from a Golf R, which is a little, 4-cylinder turbo. Back in the day, I had 2 Evos. With one of them, had an upgraded turbo, and it wouldn't even start spooling until later. It wouldn't hit full boost till probably, I think, around 35 to 4,000 RPM, probably closer to the 4,000 mark. And I was fine with it. You drive it the way it needs to be driven for the performance. You basically learn the engine, you learn the characteristics of it, the power curve, and you drive it around that so you can enjoy it. The good thing with this car is it has a factory turbo, and with some tuning, you can really bring that top end up a little bit where it was originally lacking from the factory. As far as the low end goes, there's really nothing much you can do unless you start going crazy and stuff, and for the normal person, you're probably not gonna go that route. But for just like the normal person, even me myself, there's tuning it, parts, you can get a tune, get some bolt-on parts, and you'll be surprised. This thing will now start having some higher top-end power. It kind of fixes that middle range where the power was. It kind of makes it a little more broad. Actually, one thing I need to do now that I always forget to do is turn on sport mode. And it really makes a big difference. And when I say that, I don't mean it gives you power, but if your foot is depressed at a certain angle on the pedal and you put sport on, you're gonna feel the car start pulling a little more. It's not that it's giving you more power, it's just making the throttle more sensitive, basically tricking the computer into thinking you have it pressed down more. But by putting it on, it really wakens up the car a little bit. I always try to drive with it on, but of course, you know, it's a habit that I need to get used to. I've had this car for less than a week at this point. And just so you know, we're about to go on a highway, we'll do some pulls. But the sport button also tightens up the steering a little bit. And from what I've read and heard, and I need to know the exact numbers, but I think it brings the torque down, or the usable torque, I'm not sure if it's peak or just when it really starts hitting, down to 2,500, where I think without the sport button, it's give or take around 33 to 3,500. So this thing with the sport button, it's a really, really fun car. It also loosens up the rear end a little bit. It doesn't turn off traction completely, but it does loosen it up a little bit where you can have some more fun with it. So in a little bit, we're gonna go on the highway and get a little pull here and there. But overall, I gotta say, this car just feels amazing. It really, really does. It's not all about the power. Feels amazing. Doesn't have a ton of power, but when that turbo kicks in, you really feel it. You could chirp second. It pulls hard for what it is. It really feels great. So we're gonna go on the highway, do a couple pulls. Hopefully the audio is still good. The car just has so much character. It's just a joy to drive. It just makes you so happy when you're driving it. It makes you realize you don't need all this power. I'm not sure how the audio is going to sound now, so I might wait until we start hopping off to talk a little bit more. But I'll try talking a little bit. Hopefully the audio's okay. So like I said, similar to the S2000 where it has to be driven a certain way, this car also has to be driven a certain way. The power band is more right in the middle from the factory, which is not necessarily a bad thing. For daily driving, it's amazing. You really feel that low end, you know, when I say low end, it's more of that like mid-range punch, I should say. You really feel that happening. You know, I'm coming from, my last car was a Golf R 4-cylinder turbo, but it just made gobs of torque. It was putting down about 400 horsepower. The torque came on really low, it threw you back, and it pulled all the way to the top. It's a hell of a car. But like I said, I wanted something that was a little more engaging. I basically wanted a manual again, a rear-wheel drive manual. Prior to the Golf R, I had an E92 M3, which was supercharged. It was putting down about 600 horse, a little over 500 to the wheels. That thing just pulled like a freight train. It was awesome. But going into this, it makes you realize that you don't need all that power. In the future, yeah, I'll get something else with a ton of power. But right now, this thing feels amazing. Like I said, it has so much character. With the sport button on, you can have fun. I guess you could say like legal fun. And kind of, you know, playful fun where the rear end can kind of kick out a little bit, but it's not out of control. Or like an S2000, if it kicks out, oh, you better be careful on that. So overall, I think Fiat did a great job on this vehicle. Now, unfortunately, they actually stopped making it. Mine is a 2017, which is the first year that they started making it, and they stopped making it in, I think it was 2020. I think that was the final model year. They just stopped this year. It just feels amazing. The car just really feels amazing. I'm extremely happy that I was able to find this particular car. It was a 2017, it's black. I wanted the visibility package. That's where you get that kind of halo look. It's kind of like a 3-part halo look. It was a must for me. I loved that look. I really think it amplifies that front end look. Overall, I love the look of this anyway, and that just really made it good. The car is just so much fun, and it does have some decent mid-range punch, like I was saying. So, okay, back to the car. So I bought this car recently. I just picked it up less than a week ago. I was lucky enough to find it. He was an older gentleman. He was retired, and he didn't drive it that much. It's a 2017, and when I got it, the car had less than 3,000 miles on it. Now it's got a little over 3,000, about to hit 3,100. Just got it, like I said earlier this week, less than a week at this point. But less than 3,000 miles. It's basically brand new. The thing just feels amazing. You're going to hear the wind noise in here. I'm hoping the audio isn't too terrible as I'm driving. But this car, like I was saying earlier, it's got the visibility package. It's actually got the luxury collection, and what that does is it gives you the visibility package, which is the headlights I was referring to. It gives you the leather seats, the Bose sound system, and I think a couple other little things like Navi here and there. The seats are great. The Navi I haven't used yet, but the headrest speakers are actually very, very usable, especially on phone calls. During regular music, they're there, they're more like background, but when you have a phone call, boom, it kind of kicks in right behind your head and it sounds really good. So yeah, I just love this thing. Like, it literally just put a smile on my face every time I go out and drive it, and I've been doing that a lot. I've been finding any reason possible just to go out and drive this car. Even if I have no reason to go out, I'll go out and just go for a ride. So I'm pretty excited. I got some nice parts coming in for the car. They're already on order. First, I have a nice set of wheels coming in. This factory Abarth wheels are just ridiculously heavy. They're 22 pounds. So I went with a set of OZ Ultra Ligara. They're 16 pounds. It's gonna shave off 6 pounds per corner. Overall, 24 pounds. And there's all the talk about unsprung weight, sprung weight, this, that, 1 pound equals 5 equals 2 equals 3, 5, 4, like all different things. Honestly, all I know is you lower the weight on your vehicle, it's gonna perform better overall. You do it on unsprung, brakes, tires, wheels, it's gonna have a bigger benefit. I don't really care too much about exactly the correlation of unsprung to sprung in the weight. I just know it's gonna have a benefit, a positive benefit on that. And 6 pounds per corner, I'm sure I'm gonna feel that. So they should be coming in about a week or so, give or take. And then I have a set of Eibach Pro Kit springs. It's not like an insane drop, but I'm not looking to do that. It's just gonna really bring it down a bit, stiffen things up. It's gonna lose that crazy wheel gap. And I think overall it's gonna look beautiful. I'm getting them in bronze. It's like a matte bronze, which I think is gonna look really nice against this black. And actually I did have a couple of videos. I did a couple of draggy runs with the draggy app, and I calculated a couple of like pulls. And the point of that was I did it, stock, and then I'm gonna do it again after I put the wheels on and see if I can see a difference. I would love to see if I can get as close as I can to some realistic data how light wheels will perform. A lot of it's gonna come down to handling and cornering, which might not be you know, the best thing to visually notice if you're just driving, or at least translate over to video. But as far as performance, I think 6 pounds per corner, we're gonna see something. So I have a video that I recorded already, stock, pull on the draggy. I'm gonna do it again, same exact thing. I'm gonna try and keep the conditions and everything the same, and we'll see if we can see a benefit. So that's something definitely to look forward to. So if you want, make sure to subscribe. I'm gonna have some good content going forward on this car and some other cars as well. So also coming in, I have a tune by Euro Compulsions. I went with them. They have a couple different stages, or they call phases. So phase 1, phase 2. Initially, I'm doing a phase 1 tune, and I will be putting on, it's funny, so the Golf R really spoiled me when it comes to the exhaust. I had a Remus exhaust on the Golf R, and it was a valve system, and I just love the ability to go from sport and tame, kind of quiet when I wanted to something really loud. I love that. So with this car, I went with the Ragazone system, straight from Italy. Should be here in a bit, and it's basically the entire exhaust from the downpipe, crosspipe, midpipe, and axle back, with the axle back being valved. Now, not only is that good because it's valved and that's what I wanted, but it is a little bit more of an aggressive system in the sense that the entire piping diameter from the downpipe all the way back is 70 millimeters, basically 2.75 inches. So 2 3/4 of an inch instead of 2.5, which is what most of the other systems are. I spoke to the guys at Euro Compulsions, and they even said that they really like that's 2.75 inch. Oof. Damn. These people cannot drive. What is going on? I don't know what's going on here. They just blocked the entire damn road. I guess we'll go this way. I don't know what the hell was going on there. It doesn't look like they hit, but they just stopped right in the middle. Maybe they touched a little bit, I don't know. So basically, like I was saying with the exhaust, I was talking to Euro Compulsions, and even they said they love the 2.75 inch. They're like, you know, 3 inch would be way too big, 2.5 inch is great, but the 2.75 just flows really good, and it gives you the ability to push higher power numbers if you need to. It's got that free-flowing exhaust. Transmission feels amazing. Like I said, this is from the NC Miata, which is the generation before. It's supposed to be a little bit stronger to help put up with the extra torque of the 124 compared to the ND Miata, which is the newer Miata. This one with the turbo definitely produces more mid-range punch, more torque. So this transmission is a little bit more tough. It's supposed to handle that better. And it feels great. It really does. It feels great. Could not drive today, I swear to God. So going back to some parts for the car. So like I said, we got the exhaust coming in, which is a full-blown exhaust, 2.75 inches straight through. We have a Euro Compulsions phase 1 or stage 1, phase 1, however you want to call it, tune that's going to be uploaded onto here. We also have an intake that I'm putting on, which is going to be the Euro Compulsions, they call it the V4 intake. And there's also, let me think, we have a forged blow-off valve, forged wastegate actuator. That's going to really help with boost, holding boost in each gear a little bit better. Throttle response, all these together, I think is really gonna liven up the car, especially up top. And down low, like I said, I don't mind it. I really don't, because I'm used to driving 4-cylinder turbos, even some with really big, not really big, but you know, big enough to the point where they wouldn't spool up and hit full boost to 4,000. You just have to drive the car around its own power curve. You start to enjoy it, you start to understand that, and it just becomes a whole lot of fun. So I'm extremely excited to get those parts in. And even stock though, it kind of surprised me that this car is a little more torquier than I expected. So that's really, really good. So right there, like I was talking about earlier, when you have it in sport mode, it really just loosens up the rear end. It allows you to kind of, you know, kicks it out a bit. Nothing crazy where you're gonna spin out, like if you had a factory S2000 and with no, you know, traction control or anything. Then when that thing snaps on you, you might start spinning. This one, you turn off, well, it's not turning off traction, but when you turn on the sport mode, it loosens up the traction a bit and allows you to have, I guess you can call it controllable fun in a way, where you can kind of whip around a corner a little bit. If you're in first gear turning, you'll kind of feel the rear end pull out a bit, but it's not to the point where it's kind of just whoop and pull like a 180 or do something crazy unexpected. You want that, or you want to actually start controlling the vehicle on your own, then you turn off traction completely. But having the sport button on, it really livens up the car. Between the rear end is being extremely playful, the wheel being a little bit tighter, having the torque available a little bit lower. Overall, it's just a great car to drive. It feels amazing. It just puts a smile on your face. Like I said, I literally just take this thing out whenever I can. So I think that's it for now. You know, I just wanted to kind of introduce the car, and I'm gonna miss the Golf R in the future. Maybe I'll get something with more power on the side. I don't see myself letting go of this because it is just such a fun car. At one point, I had my S2000, I had a Corvette, and I had my 600 horsepower M3 all at the same time, and I still love taking out the S2000. It was bone stock. It was still a joy to drive. This one, it's not going to stay stock. I'm going to modify it. I love modifying cars, but I know it's never going to put up insane numbers unless I go crazy with it. I don't expect to do that. I just want to have a tune, have some fun with it, and then in the future, maybe I'll get something that's a little more powerful. The Golf R was an amazing car. A step up from the Golf R, an RS3. That might be like the dream garage right there, where it's not ridiculously expensive. Imagine having an RS3 tuned up, all-wheel drive with that dual clutch. It'll just go like a rocket ship. And then this one, just for the pure fun of it, for that engagement factor, that fun factor. That would be awesome. So we'll see what happens, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just a little first impressions of the car, and we'll see you guys in the next one. If you like this, please subscribe, share it, comment below. Let me know what you think about this car, Miata, Golf R, anything. I'll keep engaged with you guys. We'll kind of chat a little bit. I'll have some more videos coming, so if this interests you, please go ahead and subscribe, share it if you would like, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.